war alles ein Traum, doch ich weiß, du bist irgendwo da draußen. Und ohne dich fühle ich mich so allein. Hier ist ein bisschen Kaviar, ein bisschen Pizza, ein bisschen LA Ghetto, ein bisschen Nizza, ein bisschen Hipster, ein bisschen Glitzer, Glitzer. Doch scheiß mal auf Shampoos, sie willen's Wichser. Sie ist VIP, doch pennt auf dem Rücksitz. Sie ist...
What's up, guys? This is Behind the Profit. We are Print Profit, a profitability software for the industry. And today we're going to be doing a little bit tour. Nick, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, we're headed over to Twin Cities Startup Garage. This is for the startup community in the Twin Cities, the hub of where a bunch of cool tech startups are working out of from all different industries. And this is part of our home at Print Profit. Neil, what has it been like working there for the past month?
It's been great, especially meeting other startups. It's been great to connect with them. And especially now that we're heading there, today's just, I don't think we could have picked a better day to do it as well. So nice outside.
So I know it's tough to get a sense on video, but Griffin, you want to show them down the street here, you've got the Mississippi River, and you're also able to see down there the whole skyline of Minneapolis. Around here it's northeast Minneapolis, which is a really cool area, mixture of old and new. And right around the corner we see the Startup Garage.
There we are. So Nick, who are we meeting with today and what are they going to talk about?
We're meeting with Seth, who's one of the co-founders of the garage. And he's just been a great guy in the community who's really supporting all of these startups. And it's been a real joy getting to know him and just his wealth of knowledge and mentorship.
Yeah.
He's done a lot for Print Profit, so
For
we
sure.
feel lucky to call this home.
Right. Neil, anything you're excited about?
Just having a conversation, I feel.
For sure.
And the weather as well.
For sure. It's a beautiful day. We're excited. Let's do it.
All right, we're recording and walking into the Startup Garage. This is where the magic happens.
Here, we'll let you go first.
And who do we have here but Seth Peter?
Hello, how's it going today?
So this is Seth. He's a co-founder of Twin Ignition, and we're here at the Startup Garage. Griffin, Neil, you want to get by Seth and let's do a walkthrough together. Seth, where do we find ourselves here in terms of this entryway?
Yeah, well, come on in. This is our kitchen area. Most startups start their companies in coffee shops, and so I spent a lot of time meeting with companies, early stage, talking about fundraising, talking about strategy in places like Dunkin' Donuts. And I thought to myself, there's got to be a better place. And so, my story kind of starts with the exit of a business called NetSpy. Kind of rolled some of the proceeds from that business sale into this building to create more of a cohesive working space for startups, rather sitting next to someone that's actually working on something similar to you as opposed to someone who's there just to drink coffee, as an example. But the look and feel of this is kind of designed to be comfortable, You can come in for a meeting and, there's no barrier to entry. You don't have to check in at a reception desk. It's 100%. Much like meeting someone at a coffee shop itself. And it's important, we do have great coffee.
that's essential. You gotta have it.
As you know, so the Super Espresso machine might be the heartbeat of Twin Ignition.
And we got some.
This is one of my favorite parts. This fridge right here, open her up.
Unlimited
drinks in there.
And beer. One thing I learned in having a tech company is, if you're going to attract the right people, you kind of have to have some of the amenities, right, that people are looking for. And it's as simple as, good beverages to drink and coffee to keep you going. And so, that's part of it. Taking the inspiration of what made NetSpy successful and how do we, help other companies kind of see that same path, even in physical form. The other thing to kind of point out in this space is you can start to see some of our artwork. We have artwork throughout the entire building. And most of the paintings are Joe Gallup, but we are here in Northeast Minneapolis, which is part of the Arts District of Minneapolis. And so it's important, the location was important because artists and entrepreneurs are very similar. They're innovators. They're creating something that no one's created before. And, in working on a business, it's very virtual, whereas art is very physical. And so it's kind of nice to have, I think, physical creation happening help you keep sight of like, yes, there is an end, to this version of software I'm deploying, or to this business plan I'm getting together, and so there's stopping points, and so it's kind of meant to inspire that there are you can take something from nothing, create something new, and apply those concepts to your own business. And, be inspired.
Yeah.
It's kind of the idea.
Never thought about it that way, Art. That's crazy. Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. Yeah.
Well, let's walk around and see where people kind of get their work done. So we have kind of come through this way. We do have a garage door, which is important. It's going to be a startup garage. We'll get to the story of the building came with it, but we'll get to the story where the name came from later. But in this area, we kind of have, this is a little bit like a campfire. It's kind of an interesting table. It is the oil water separator tank cover that was part of the garage. Used to be right there. It's from a Minneapolis foundry that used to be downtown. So we had to preserve that little bit of history.
Oh, for sure.
I never knew that story.
That's cool, actually. So it's just actually in the ground, like right here.
It was in the ground, right here.
Wow.
And so we took it out during the renovation. And
Put it on a table.
Put it on a table.
Yeah.
So.
Well done.
What about all these logos here, Seth?
So this is our barn door. And so what we do is companies that are in here, we want to make sure that they're kind of highlighted so their logos are up there. And then as companies have grown or graduated out, we'll move their logos down so we have a historical reference of some of the companies that have been in and out of here. So.
I like that kind of tribute,
Yeah. You never know where the companies are going to go, right? This is their first office for most of the companies in here, and they're just starting their journey. So it's interesting to have that placeholder where they started and where they'll go. Down here we have our lower conference room with some motion stools, so there'll be no sleeping in any meetings whatsoever. Test the core fitness of your employees.
Griffin, never done that in a meeting.
You were the first day you were falling off the back of the chair. It's so funny. It's so funny.
But I love this room because you've got, what conference room do you get to watch people walk by, or traffic and stuff. And so it's engaging in multiple ways. The light's great. We've got big whiteboard for a lot of thought process. Table can go up and down, so you can stand for a meeting, you can sit for a meeting.
And what a great space for an early stage startup, for important meetings with a number of folks to really be at a space that shows professional.
Yeah.
Versus a Dunkin' Donuts.
If you're interviewing someone, or if you're meeting maybe a potential investor, that's kind of the idea. You have a professional base to start from, and adds to the legitimacy of your story. And it's the concept.
For sure.
So companies kind of start in this, generally speaking, in this work area. It's great for solopreneurs, maybe two founders. They can kind of collaborate together. Notice all the desks are kind of set up 2 at a time for that, to inspire some collaboration. And then as companies kind of grow, we have offices that kind of house up to 4 people. And that, you can see Camperoni in here is one of them. And so when they kind of get to that stage, they got a little bigger, space to choose from. There's a lot of Zoom calls in today's world, and so we also have some of the couple pod options. For those more quick ad hoc meetings.
Now, what's back here? I have never seen this in a co-working space before.
Well, as we are in the Arts District, it is important to have a maker space. And so this is our kind of studio space. It's primarily a woodworking studio for myself, but we have had a lot of startups do a little project in here. It could be a logo sign for their office. It could be, it could even be a set of bookshelves, But I like to create some inspiring, creative woodwork creations in here. We got a few of them.
This one,
this is my favorite one.
Anyone who visits this say, "What's the story behind the cow?"
Fern the Furniture Cow. The story behind Fern, it was created for the State Fair, which it did win a big blue ribbon.
Nice.
But I make chairs that look like leather, but are made out of wood. And so this is tufted wood chairs. And so Fern tells the story of where the fine leather for these chairs comes from.
Yeah, gotcha.
How many hours would you estimate against this fine cattle here? What-
It took a period of 7 months.
Wow.
How many hours is too hard to calculate.
Yeah, right.
But each piece is individually cut, shaped, angled, to kind of get the curve. It's a hollow body.
It's handmade.
It's handmade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who does it?
So 3 kinds of wood. There's ash, walnut, and then this is purple heart.
Wow.
Which got me inspired to create a purple chair with purple heart. Actually, that's the natural color of the wood. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's
Really?
wow. It's a pole rocker.
I love that, actually. That's super cool. I've never seen the wood planks going that way. I've never seen that. That's cool.
No, I think that's a first.
Yeah, for sure in history.
And I love how, a lot of people nearby in this community, Minneapolis is like the #1 most friendliest bike commuting city in the United States or something.
Yeah.
You see a lot of nice.
So we put a bike rack in because this is it's great to promote green things in our city. People like to bike, and this way your bike doesn't get stolen.
That was one of my surprises right away. Is like I came here and I started to see owners like biking into work, and I was like, it's nothing you see from like a normal corporation or startup or any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Like you never see owners biking in, so it's cool to see that. Yeah.
Griffin have a long commute from Lakeville.
Yeah, exactly. Most people are driving in their Porsche, their Corvette at the corporation. It's like it's just a bike and an owner. Pretty cool.
Got to stay in shape somehow.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So what was this building, Seth, when it was acquired?
Yeah, so the last business in here was furniture restoration. So it had some studios for stripping paint and stuff in here and refinishing. There was about 1 inch of shellac where we're standing now, which had to be ground down. The building itself really kind of got its identity in 1920 as an auto garage, and they were a dealer for Nash cars. And a little inspiration where the name came from. It was an ad from our local newspaper, the Star Tribune. This would be 1928, but advertising the Nash 400, which had twin ignition or 2 spark plugs per cylinder.
That's a cool
and it
kind
was
of tip of the hat.
Yeah, it was sold here under the name of Philos Brothers. So they were the dealer / garage. And then it was a garage until about 2000. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So it is truly a startup garage.
That's funny. Because I thought it was twin ignition. I was thinking like Twin Cities. Like that's where the name came
It works.
from.
It works both ways.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
So that's why, when we kind of went through all the history of the building,
Sure.
and this name just kind of kept sticking out.
Meant to be.
So yeah.
I love that. That's cool. Really cool.
Let's
where-
go upstairs and check
where
out.
are we headed next?
Yeah, the oldest part of the building.
More amazing art.
So this section's a little higher, and it's technically from 1893, where it was a tin shed, and they made fire doors for probably office and warehouse buildings here in Minneapolis. But the siding here is original in our restoration. Kind of preserved the siding where we had to take it off, kind of put it back in, opened up the windows in here, created 3 offices. A little quieter space up here for those companies, and we have a little larger conference room. You can kind of more like that board meeting, kind of room. So
I like it up here. It's my first time being in this conference room, so
yeah.
I've seen it from the bottom whenever I go, but I don't see it.
I just never walked out in here actually.
Yeah, it is an interesting perspective because you kind of see people below you working.
People, you feel powerful up here. Like.
Yeah, and we intentionally have windows like into the wood shop and stuff, so
For
you
sure.
kind of just see how different things are getting created.
Yeah, I love that. It's cool.
Seth, what for you have been some of the proudest moments in the building and with what you've built? Is there a particular thing or two that stands out, or just a collection of great years of special things?
Yeah, I think some highlights are, when somebody has closed a deal or maybe closed a round, right? I do remember hearing this room erupt one time when Turn Signal had landed a big investor, and they were so excited because it meant their business had legs, and they just, were basically dancing in here effectively. And they came down and everyone who was sitting in the middle area was clapping because they knew something big happened, and so it's those moments when there's a win and you're there for it. And it's like when you're a company, NetSpy as a company grew from 1 to 75 people. And so like you share those wins, as the company grows, but when you're 1 or 2 people, it's kind of, it's kind of nice to, when you have a win, to go out and feel that power of like everyone's behind you, everyone's excited for you. So those are the moments that absolutely make it happen.
I believe it.
Yeah, for sure.
This is incredible. This has been an awesome walkthrough, talking about the history, a bit of your story, combination of hobbies, the community, and wow, we're grateful to be part of the space. And anything in closing, Seth, from the little tour here?
Yeah, I appreciate everyone kind of checking it out and listening in. I mean, we're here for early stage companies, and so it's good to kind of understand what a early stage company is going through, kind of on your side, but then also to kind of see that there are spaces for founders, that you can collaborate with others, you can get together, talk about strategies, talk about something, marketing, maybe it's engineering, something that's not your specialty, but someone else in here might have that expertise or solved some of those problems already. And so it's really meant to be that accelerant through the community. But
if anyone watching this were Twin Cities based and interested in connecting for whatever reasons, where would you guide them to just get information and learn more? Yeah,
our website, which is twinignition.com, or send us an email at info@twinignition.com. And we'd love to hear your founder stories, and whether or not, it's a space that you need, but Twin Ignition provides space, we provide advice, and we provide some investment, and all those things have, they got to be the right fit, for everybody, but like those are the 3 pillars that we stand on here. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, Seth. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See you guys soon.
All right, Print Profit team, we're walking out of the site tour. Fun time with Seth, a lot of cool information. Any closing thoughts from the crew?
I just thought it was so insightful. I think we've been in this building for, at least Griffin and I, for like a month now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like been in and out, but to get an idea of the story behind it, what it means, I think it was super awesome. To get insight from Seth himself was super cool. What were your thoughts, Griffin?
My thoughts, I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
I guess you
Flip the camera. Garage is opening, so let's go over here real quick. But yeah, I thought it was super cool. I definitely, like I was telling them a second ago, like I thought we'd walk in, they'd be like, here's a desk, here's a table, here's what you do over here, here's a co-working space. But like, there was so much like depth and history to what they do here. And like, even the name Twin Ignition, it used to be like a car garage back in the day. And like, it was a 2-cylinder twin ignition vehicles that like they had in the garage. So like,
20s.
in the 20s, and it's also the Twin Cities. So it's like cool stuff like that, where it's like all the history that's in this one building and all the people that have walked through this building. I don't know, super cool to hear, for sure.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Nick?
History, learned a ton from that, and just feel grateful to have the opportunity to be there, and want to thank Seth and everyone else involved for having that, for having us there.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching.
We'll see you, squad. We should call them Profit Squad.
Profit Squad.
Profit Squad. See you, Profit Squad.
You know, tonight.